So we are at the center stage of Tata's pavilion at Auto Expo 2023, and with me is Martin Uhlarik, the global design head and the man responsible for all these designs that you have seen for now. Avinya concept, the Curvv. Right now we're sitting inside a Sierra EV version. Almost 14 launches this time around?
Yes.
And all those designs, how do you manage? What are the balances that you keep?
Well, we have a very international, outstanding design team. So we have over 200 people working in 3 design studios across the world. We have a studio in Pune, India. We have one in the United Kingdom, and then we have one in Italy, in Torino. And all of them are working on these various programs. Of course, we're one team, but everybody has their role. So, studios are responsible for different products. But when we do a design competition, it's an international competition. Okay. So, for instance, when we were doing the Sierra last summer, we had everybody competing, and it's all based on authentic selection. There's no agenda. So we just had send us the sketches, then we select the sketches, then we made scale models, and then we had a selection from 3 scale models to 1 full size. Exactly. And what was funny was when we had the go with 3, we ended up with 3 interiors and 3 exteriors, and each one was from one of the studios. And that wasn't planned.
Okay, that's nice.
Because we never put the signature on the sketches, so it's you're just choosing the design. You're not choosing of like where it's from or anything like that. This car is actually an interesting thing because the exterior, the side was from the UK, the front and the rear was from Italy, and the interior is from India. And now the program is actually being developed by our team in Pune.
Talking of designs, the Avinya one is very interesting. It's very different. We have not seen that design on our roads. So what went through your mind and your team's mind when you designed that?
That was a blank sheet of paper. Avinya was the question in the summer of 2020 that the management said, what does a pure EV look like? So we had a blank sheet of paper, so we made the proportions we wanted. And we said 4.3 meters is sort of the sweet spot.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe that actually the Avinya is the same length as the Curvv and the Sierra. They're exactly the same length. But with the Avinya, because it's a born EV, we pushed the wheels to the absolute extreme. And what we did was we made this massive cabin. So it's about a human-centric. We said we designed the interior first, and then the silhouette ended up being the after effect of that. So the front windscreen is as far forward as possible, and it's all very long and horizontal, but it's actually a very conventionally height vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. You say that it has the height of a sedan.
Yeah, it's a sedan height at the B pillar, but because it doesn't have it dropping in the front or the rear, the A pillar and the C pillar, it just has this straight line, and then it looks like a really long vehicle, but it's all perception.
So let's talk about this car, the Sierra.
When we did the Sierra, obviously we worked on the concept in 2020, and that was more the question, is there appetite for Sierra to be back in the market? But what is a Sierra? What was the original Sierra? Why is there this it's not just nostalgia. There's something about the Sierra that brings like a warmth, a joy. So many people over the last 24 hours have been telling me, like, I was a child sitting here in the original one, and now I'm going to be the one driving it in the front, and I'm going to have my parents and my children in the rear. So we call this program internally, the project was called Project XYZ.
Okay.
And that's Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z all coming together. So this is a multi-generational product that we all experience together. So lots of daylight. It's about enjoying the journey. And then it's about creating something that's, very timeless. And it's a very humanistic product.
SUV is the talk of the town, and when it's SUV, it's chrome. So how do you balance that chrome and design in the Indian market? I
personally think chrome is slightly superficial. Obviously, people like chrome because it communicates class, it communicates, a lot of like jewelry on the vehicle. But you can see with the Avinya or with the Sierra or even with the Curvv that we're communicating that with now LED technology. So the lighting is actually the new chrome.
What do you think about the future of mobility in India? We are moving towards EV in terms of design, in terms of market, in terms of us as consumers,
Yes.
what do you think is the future for Indian auto market?
Well, Indian auto market is growing. It's just become the third biggest market in the world after China and the United States. It will grow. It is actually the one market over the next 10 years which has the biggest potential. And obviously congestion is an issue, pollution is an issue, and overall, just the infrastructure. So Tata Motors, I think, is very well positioned in terms of powertrain, but also to leverage the strength of the group. We have Tata Power, and a number of divisions that can make mobility easier, because that's ultimately what it's all about.
Absolutely.
It's about you getting from A to B, getting to work, seeing your family, just transportation. And you can see from the stand, our theme at the Auto Expo was moving India. Exactly. Moving India is moving people, but it's also moving goods, because we have a CV division. Exactly. And it's also moving people emotionally.
Absolutely, that's good. And also about Tata. So the new cars are revolutionary. And how has been the experience? How has been the reception for you, sir?
Oh, I mean, the experience, I've worked for 30 years as a car designer, and this is without any doubt the most enjoyable period of my career, just because the people I'm working with, and it's not just the design team, it's my colleagues across all the functions in Tata Motors and also the management. Everybody is very approachable. You can have a very mature discussion. You might have a misunderstanding or you might have a difference of opinion, but it's all very high level of maturity. So working in Tata Motors for me is a very enjoyable experience. Of course, being a designer is not a job, it's a hobby for
Absolutely.
me.
Beautiful.
So I think the results are a reflection of the fact that everybody in the company or in the studios is enjoying themselves. And like I said, the work is the work of 200 people in design, and of course the engineers. And of course, if we weren't enjoying ourselves, you wouldn't see the products that you're seeing.